The reason some conversations feel awkward and forced, while others feel seamless and energetic, isn't chemistry. It's a hidden, three-part psychological technique. We'll show you how to enter a conversational flow state and make any interaction effortless.
Okay, let's just get right into it. We've all been there, right? Those conversations that just don't click. The awkward pauses, the feeling like you're performing. We're always told it's about chemistry or just being charismatic, but that's a total myth. The real secret isn't about finding the perfect words, it's about mastering the hidden rhythm of the conversation. Think of it like music. A great musician doesn't just hit the right notes, they understand the space between the notes. This whole explainer is about giving you the sheet music for conversation, showing you how to turn off that overthinking, analytical part of your brain so you can achieve a state of pure, shared presence.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to deconstruct this whole thing into a science. First, we'll tackle the big paradox that's holding you back. Then, we'll diagnose what's really causing the awkwardness. After that, we'll give you the three-part system for flow, unpack the psychology of why it's so powerful, and then give you a step-by-step protocol to put it to work immediately. And we'll wrap up with the single biggest takeaway.
So let's start with this huge idea, the perfection paradox. Here's the trap. The harder you try to say the perfect thing, the more you analyze every word, the more awkward you become. It's a vicious cycle. See, every bit of brain power you use to judge yourself is power that you're stealing from the actual connection. So the goal isn't to become a perfect speaker. The real goal is to stop trying to be perfect altogether. It's a massive shift from performance to pure presence.
Okay, so if trying to be perfect is the wrong move, what's the actual problem we're trying to solve here? Let's put on our lab coats for a second and get a real diagnosis. You know that invisible wall you feel in a conversation that's going nowhere? Well, that's not just a vague feeling. It's a real, measurable psychological event. We're about to pinpoint the true enemy of conversational flow, and guess what? The whole battle is happening right inside your own head.
And here it is, the number one culprit. It's a state called split attention. This is the core of the entire problem. It's when your brain is desperately trying to do two huge things at once. First, it's trying to actually listen to the other person, but second, it's running this frantic inner monologue, right? Rehearsing what you're going to say next, cringing at what you just said, worrying about how you look. This inner chatter is like static on the line. It makes it impossible to truly listen, and it kills any chance of a genuine connection.
And this right here shows you the battle that's going on for your brain's processing power. Your working memory. Think of it like the RAM on your computer. You only have so much of it. On the left, you've got genuine presence. All your attention is focused on one thing, the other person. Your cognitive load is low, and your brain is just cruising, leaving room for spontaneous, effortless conversation. But on the right, that's the self-monitoring trap. With your attention split, your cognitive load goes through the roof. It's a total resource hog, and it's what leads to that forced, clunky feeling we all hate.
The result of this internal battle is what we can call high cognitive drag. Seriously, imagine trying to have a deep conversation while running through waist-deep mud. That's the kind of friction it creates in your mind. Every single step feels like a struggle. But here's the most important thing I want you to hear. This is not a personality flaw. You're not just bad at conversations. It's a structural problem, a resource management problem. And you know the best thing about structural problems? They have structural solutions.
All right, enough about the problem. Let's get to the solution. This is the heart of what we're talking about today. It's a proven, three-part system designed to systematically wipe out that mental friction and drop you right into a conversational flow state. And let me be clear, these aren't just a few tips and tricks. This is a brand new operating system for human interaction.
The system has 3 phases, and each one builds on the last, creating this unbreakable chain of connection. First, we have the attentional lock. That's all about total presence. Second is alignment and pacing, which is how you build rapport without even trying. And third is the Generative Question Protocol, which keeps the flow state going pretty much indefinitely. Let's break each one down.
Step 1. This is it. The absolute, non-negotiable foundation. The attentional lock. This is a conscious choice, a discipline you have to build. You commit 100% of your focus to the speaker. Your only job is to receive what they're saying. You have to actively silence that little voice in your head that's already cooking up a reply. I want you to burn this into your brain. You are listening to understand, not listening to reply. If you can master this one skill, you've already won half the battle.
Okay, once you've locked in your attention, we move on to step 2, alignment and pacing. Now, before you think this sounds weird, let me be clear. We are not talking about being a creepy copycat, okay? This is all about subtlety. It's about gently matching the other person's rhythm. Are they speaking really fast and energetically, or are they more slow and deliberate? You just sort of tune into their channel. This sends a powerful subconscious signal to their brain that says, hey, we're in sync, we're on the same team, and it instantly lowers their guard.
Now for the final piece that keeps the engine running, the Generative Question Protocol. When it's finally your turn to speak, instead of jumping in with a story about yourself, you're going to use simple, low-effort questions that get them to talk more about what truly matters to them. You're going to ask about their choices, their skills, their beliefs, things like, wow, what was your thought process behind that? Or what led you to that decision? These questions are like a gift to the person you're talking to. They feel amazing to answer.
So that's the what, the three-part system. But to really own this, you have to understand the why. So now we're going to pop the hood and look at the actual psychology and neuroscience that makes this whole thing tick. This is where the magic turns into straight-up science.
So first, why does that attentional lock work so well? It's simple, but it's incredibly profound. It directly attacks and eliminates the #1 source of mental friction in any conversation. It just turns off the engine of your anxiety.
Here's exactly how that works inside your brain. By shutting down that self-monitoring loop, you stop that massive drain on your working memory. You're basically freeing up your brain's RAM. And that frees up your prefrontal cortex. That's the CEO of your brain, the part responsible for personality and creativity. Suddenly, when it isn't bogged down with worry, the real you, the spontaneous, authentic, witty you, finally has room to show up.
Next up, the neuroscience of step 2. This alignment and pacing thing, it has a direct, measurable effect on the other person's brain. Specifically, it calms down their amygdala. That's the brain's ancient alarm system, the part that's constantly scanning the environment and asking one simple question, friend or foe?
So what you're doing here is giving their brain a shortcut to trust. When you subtly mirror someone, you send a primal, subconscious signal that you're like them, and therefore you're safe. It completely bypasses their logical brain and just tells their alarm system to stand down. See, our brains are always judging two things about people. Are they warm and are they competent? Mirroring signals warmth, and that opens the door for them to see your competence.
And now for the most powerful payoff in the entire system. Those generative questions we talked about, they're not just about keeping the conversation going. They're about making the other person feel genuinely amazing on a chemical level.
Here's the neuroscience. When you ask questions that get someone talking about their skills, their choices, their values, you're validating their deepest human needs to feel competent and in control. And that act triggers a little cascade of dopamine, the reward chemical in their brain. You're literally making the conversation a chemically rewarding experience for them. They won't just think, that was a nice chat. Their brain will remember the interaction as deeply valuable and satisfying.
All right, theory time is over. It's time to take action. This is your playbook. I'm your coach right now, and these are your drills. These aren't suggestions. They're your new standard operating procedure. This is the tactical guide you can use in your very next conversation.
Here we go. 3 simple, high-impact drills. Number 1, the full presence lock. Next conversation you have, your only mission is to listen. Do not think about what you're going to say next. A great little physical hack for this is to just rest your hands. Stop fidgeting. It sends a signal to your brain that it's time to receive. Number 2, the pacing drill. Just pick one thing to subtly match, either how fast they talk or their general posture. Don't overthink it, just one. And number 3, the question stack. Have one great question ready to go in your back pocket. The absolute classic is, how did you figure that out? It's simple, powerful, and it works every single time.
We have covered a ton of ground here, from cognitive load to the amygdala to dopamine hits. So let's boil it all down to one single, powerful lesson that you can carry with you. This is the core principle that makes everything else work.
So here is your masterclass recap. Remember, this whole conversational flow state system solves the problem of social anxiety and that heavy cognitive drag. Why it matters is that it gives you a systematic way to minimize your own mental load so you can build deep, effortless rapport. The psychology is just so elegant. The alignment framework calms their amygdala, signaling safety, while the generative question framework triggers that intrinsic motivation, that dopamine reward in their brain.
And really, that brings us to the final, crucial idea. This system is about so much more than just having better conversations. It's a fundamental lesson in focus and effectiveness. Because productivity isn't about doing more, it's about mastering systems that make focus effortless.